What is up, Sleepers Media fans? Welcome into another recap here. We're talking Duke once again. They've win in a thrilling come from ahead victory, as Duke tends to do against these mid-major teams early in the season here. They beat a pretty good, in my opinion, Howard team. I'm a little biased because they're local to me, but I think they'll be a team that can win their conference. So anytime you can beat, a conference contender, always good. They win 93 to 56. J-Man, you were in the building for this one. How was it? What are the main takeaways from another good Duke performance here?
Main takeaway is Duke is better than Howard. They this
Agreed.
was this was the one good takeaway. If you're a Duke fan, after these two games, is Duke started out fast against
Mm,
both Howard and Niagara, and I know the strength of opponents, but against Indiana State, they're down 14-4 in
mm,
the first 4 minutes of the game, and so to be up 52-18 at half against Howard, and they never trailed, not even 2-0 or 1-0 against Howard or Niagara. So Duke started fast. Got content with a huge lead at halftime to where it was 41-38 in the second half.
mm.
Howard stuck around, and that's hats off to Howard though to keep fighting and grinding because they turned Duke over, and Duke fouled a lot more in the second half. Shire wasn't happy with the way Duke fouled against Howard, and that typically capped Howard playing hard. So my main takeaway is Duke started fast this weekend, 2 games in 3 days, and then they took care of business against two inferior opponents, and most importantly, for the coaches of Niagara and Howard, it was a homecoming for Greg Paulus and Kenny Blakeney. So it was really cool to see them back in the building, but Duke took care of business like a lot of people thought they were going to.
I think it's just like a cool event overall. It's good for Duke. It's good for those players, like we talked about in both those previews. So everybody will get something out of the experience, and both teams coming in here to play in Cameron, we'll never forget that, and hopefully it helps them later in the season here too. I had a couple ones for you, and I'd love your take on them. Not the biggest box score game. Caleb Foster has 6 points, two rebounds, one assist. I thought he was like pretty good though, and he looked good in their minutes. Like I thought the defense was pretty good. There's a couple shifty guards for Howard, and I thought he really got into the lane a good amount. Had a couple dump offs to Ngongba. Like I'm not sure how he didn't actually have more assists because I feel like I vividly remember at least two lobs from him. So I'm not sure. Maybe one of them didn't count for some reason or another here, but it was like a good 6 point performance somehow, I thought.
I think that's a great way to point out Caleb Foster's activity on the floor is I call him like the guard version of Malik Brown for Duke. It's
Hmm.
like it's not really going to show up in the stat sheet, but he locks up. He's really good at guarding the other team's point guard or guards in general, switching whatever, and then he's a good facilitator that he's a better facilitator than people give him credit for because they don't see the assist numbers pop. You see one assist, but he made good reads in the game throughout to where he might have had a hockey assist or it's just started the ball movement around the perimeter for Duke that the inevitably a guy hit an open three in the corner and yeah, 6 points, 2 of 4. He took advantage of his matchup going to the rim. He made a couple layups, went to the line, made both free throws, and he only played 22 minutes because of a blowout. But I'm glad you brought that up because people that will box score watch will always the first person they look for is not Cam Boozer. I swear it is Caleb Foster. It's just people are trying to make it a talking point in the point guard play for Duke, and I'm telling you, the point guard play is fine with me. Like
Yeah.
I am, that is the least of my concern. And Caden Boozer with 4 points and 6 assists off the bench, like he was a really good floor general. That is what he does, and then Caleb Foster is really good at what he does, which is different than being the assist guy.
The more I think about this, the more I actually kind of like Foster being the starter there, just from a guy that's gonna play good point of attack defense for you, can do enough for you to get you into like simple actions. And then Boozer can come in off the bench and create a little more for these other guys that are maybe a little more limited. Like I think when you've got Sarr out there, he moves the ball pretty well. Hamania moves the ball pretty well. But Cameron Boozer is a guy that like can basically do a little point forward stuff for you. Like he basically throws guys open with some of those hit ahead passes. And I just think you need a little less help for him. Whereas like Caden Boozer can set up the Darren Harrises of the world and guys like that, or make a couple like dump off passes to Malik Brown or whatever the case may be. So I kind of like the balance they've got. And I actually thought this was a decent Caden Boozer game when he guarded the bigger players. Like he spent a decent amount of time on Bryce Harris, who's a tough matchup, and he's like a strong guy for a freshman guard. He held his ground pretty well. And there's a few moments I think the quicker guards are going to get him. So to me, it's maybe matchup dependent which of those guards you go with from the defensive end. But again, overall solid performance in them, and you didn't need a ton from them in the scoring department here. Which again, another Duke performance where you get a bunch of guys 6+ points, which is good to see everyone get the a little of the love here.
Yeah, Caden Boozer, he played a lot better defensively against Bryce Harris, like you said. He struggled. He's just going to struggle a little bit with the quicker guards in college basketball as a freshman. It's kind of been like his con right now early in the season as people are going after him. 4 points and 6 assists in 24 minutes, but his only plus minus was plus 10.
Yeah.
So he just he gave up some buckets on the defensive end, though he played good defense against like Bryce Harris. Because I agree, like when Bryce Harris would try and drive him and get him in a low post,
He just
he would
walled up. I loved it. I
yeah,
thought that was cool.
he'd wall up, and then but the quicker guards, they had just a quicker first step, and that is what separates Caleb Foster and Caden, where it's pro Foster, and then again pro Caden is he's the facilitator where off a made basket he's pushing in transition and he's going to get a quick bucket for Duke, whether he's going to finish it or he's going to find an open teammate. And him and his brother, just great vision. I mean, Cameron Boozer threw a full court chest pass out of bounds to Isaiah that led to a dunk at the beginning of the game. And I just laugh, like I literally laugh when the ball's in the air because it wasn't over the head pass or a baseball pass from taking the ball out. It was just a chest pass that hit Isaiah to the other 3 point line in the
Yeah,
chest. It's just he's strong as an ox, dude. His
crazy.
legs are as thick as an oak tree, and then he's just a big, strong. He's just a strong human being.
Yeah, he was really good in this game. I mean, obviously, you didn't need a ton from him. He plays 26 minutes. He finishes with 26 points, 12 rebounds, 4 assists, 2 steals. Honestly, we talked about this a little bit with Ngongba in the last game. Both of them only 2 fouls. I thought was good against smaller, quicker, guys that are going to try to put them in different spots on the floor. This was like a matchup for like Cameron Boozer was made to thrive in, and he absolutely delivered. Just need to see more of that, translate against the higher major guys, but can't be more efficient than 10 for 12, 2 of 3 from the 3 point line, and 4 of 5 from the free throw line ain't bad either. So, uh, just I don't know. He looks more comfortable every time I watch him play, and they didn't even need him to do that much, and he was still just really good in it.
Yeah, Cameron Boozer. I mean, this is the type of game that he really just eats at, where you just don't have a guy that his size. I mean, Bryce Harris picked up 3 fouls in 20 seconds in the second half, guarding him to start the second half. It was the first 19 seconds he had 3 fouls because he could not just get in front. Or maybe that was Pat Gongba actually. That was actually Pat. But I'm getting to Pat in a second. Cameron Boozer, strong as an ox, nobody could guard him. And then Pat Gongba, 16 points on 8 of 9 and 17 minutes with 5 rebounds. And that was where Bryce Harris, he had 3 fouls in 19 seconds of trying to guard Pat Gongba, trying to front the post, and he just couldn't. And Pat Gongba also is a very good shot blocker. Like he's not going to be like Kaman Malawach last year, where he's going to play the perimeter very well and move his feet. That's just kind of not his game.
Mhm.
But rim protecting, he's underrated. He
Yeah, I agree.
looks like he has a little slow first step, but he's quick off the bounce.
Mhm.
And he had 2 blocks in this game and a couple of dunks that surprised me that he got up on some lobs. And he's so polished, man. Like his offensive game is kind of like Jaleel Okafor-esque
Yeah,
a little bit,
no,
where
it is.
he's on the block and you're just like, all right, this is 2 points. I don't care that you're pushing him in the back and he's going to now post up at the 3 point line. He's going to back you down. He's going to do a finger roll in on a reverse pivot,
Yeah.
and it's going to be 2 points for Duke. And it's nice to have that type of big out there that is with Cam Boozer who can step outside and knock it down. Gongba did make his first three against Niagara, but he missed his only three in this game. He can shoot like I know he's like 1 of 10 or 1 of 11, but he shot it pretty well in high school. And I
Mhm.
think that it's just going to come with more in-game repetition for him in that regard. But even if he doesn't, say he's a 10% 3 point shooter, I don't care. He's 90%, it feels like, around the rim. So Pat Gongba had a really strong weekend for Duke.
Yeah, I liked everything about him. You mentioned that one kind of drop step layup where it's just like, oh, he's pretty light on his feet for a big dude like that, which is really cool to see. And I don't know, I feel like John Shire is like talking to the Duke official scorekeeper into like not letting these guys get big heads because I felt like Foster had more than the 1 assist there that he finishes with. I thought Gongba had more than the 1 block that he finishes with. Actually, was it 2 blocks? 2 blocks he finished with. Malik Brown only had 1 steal and no blocks, but I feel like I vividly remember him like having multiple deflections. So just a lot to like here defensively. They showed off everything that's going to make this team good come tournament time. We'll see how much of it is like meaningful to conference play here, but I think this is all you can do is beat the teams you can beat, that are put in front of you. And I think they've answered the challenge here pretty far. Any, I don't know, final takeaways here, J Man, before we wrap this one up?
Just final takeaways is the guy that I wanted to see, have a pretty good weekend was Darren Harrison. I came away like feeling good about Darren Harrison. I know he's 1 of 6 in the first game against Niagara, 3 of 6, 1 of 4 from three against Howard, but he had 2 steals and he got fouled. He missed his 2 free throws, which I know he wants back. But he got a steal, and then Bryce Harris fouled him on a breakaway dunk. And one, he surprised me that he can get that high. He cocked it back over his head. I was like, okay, Darren Harris. But him being able to have the confidence to get to the cup
Mhm.
offensively is something that I really like to see in his growth. And defensively, he was kind of lost last year as a freshman, rightfully so. That normally happens to every freshman. He looks more comfortable defensively for Duke in the scheme, and I thought he played hard. And I was proud of him for his effort this weekend, to where he's going to give Duke 10 minutes in big games, and I have faith in Darren Harris. So I came away with Darren Harris. I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna keep that stock for right now.
No, it's a great call. I had similar take, and I think that's a great shout out. Just want to throw like 20 more seconds toward Isaiah Evans. Plays 24 minutes, has 11 points, only 1 of 5 from three in this game. But it truly felt like if he wanted to go into takeover mode, he could have gotten like whatever he wanted in this game. I thought he was good attacking closeouts. He slashed pretty well, and I think those are really good developments for him over the course of the year here too. I think there's like another gear for him that we might start to see in some of these bigger games, and it's cool though that he's content to not feel like I've got to force it in a game like this to get my numbers at the expense of my other teammates who don't play as much. So I think that that's a good sign from a chemistry perspective.
Yeah, I mean Isaiah, he had 3 dunks, and the third one was a pretty
Yeah.
sweet dunk.
That
And
was a
he
big boy dunk. Yep.
he had like all 3 dunks were pretty big boy dunks. So I'm like, okay, Isaiah, and like, look, the last 3 games combined, he has 8 assists and 0 turnovers.
That's crazy.
So he is showing that he can be a guy you trust in the half court offense with being a facilitator that we've seen. And then, oh, by the way, now he's scoring off the dribble and he's dunking off the dribble. It's I'm glad you get brought him up because look, he has shown consistency in the last 3 games for Duke, scoring in double figures, Kansas, Niagara, and Howard. And then I mean Texas was a season high 23 when they needed him the most because
Mhm.
Cam Boozer was, shut out in the first half. So Isaiah is going to be a guy for Duke to, in the preview of Arkansas, that I think that is going to be a circled name because he shows up in big games, and it's nice to see that he shows up in the non-big games as well. And that was kind of like the question mark with him coming into the sophomore year.
I love that. Yeah, I'm looking forward to that next matchup. There'll be more previews here on the channel, so everybody stay locked in. Hit the like button if you're watching us on YouTube here, and we'll be back for more on Sleepers Media.